Welcome to the Dating Unsettled show where we dare to date differently. I'm your host, JoyOfodu. If I sound a little raspy, you got to excuse me. I was on the road all week in Grenada celebrating Carnival. I am coming to you on the heels of our Dating Unsettled Experience New York event, which literally just happened on Wednesday. It's a Friday and it happened on Wednesday. It was incredible. Like 20 of you filled Brooklyn Blend, which is an amazing Black-owned, family-owned cafe in Brooklyn, New York. You came, you brought your dating podcast stories, your aspirations, your hopes for me, your congrats for me, your hugs, your love, and I love you for it. You can go to datingunsettled.com or the Dating Unsettled socials to see what happened there at Brooklyn Blend. But y'all, my heart is so full of the fact that we are on an international tour already. We've been to Oakland. We've been to London with the podcast live recording. We did a live recording in Atlanta earlier this year. We now have been to Brooklyn and we're headed next to a city in California that I'm not going to announce yet. But all that to say, I'm really, really in love with what is happening around the podcast, around each of you. Thank you for listening and for being here. We don't like to waste time on the show. I don't personally. So what I'm going to do with this raspy voice is read you the Dating Unsettled reminders. These are unpopular opinions to give you hope for your online dating life. And they've been on my heart because everybody is so pessimistic and so negative. And if you've been listening to the show at all, you know that this is not the vibe. This is not what we do here, okay? This is a place for positivity, for optimism. So without further ado, I'm going to read things to you.
Dating Unsettled.
That's right. Okay. Number one on the Dating Unsettled reminders, you are not meant to be compatible with most people. Like, it's a good thing that most of your dates do not successfully result in ongoing romantic relationships. You are not for everyone, and everyone is not for you. You are unique. You are so chock full of experiences, perspectives, quirks, and needs that everybody should not be fitting your criteria. And you should not be fitting everybody's. If you are having a series of overwhelming first dates, like you're like, oh my God, I'm not going on second dates, seventh dates, 10th dates, and you're not hearing from the other person again, it's actually a good sign. Both of you are undergoing the process of elimination. You are discovering incompatibility. And this is actually success for those of you who are interested in practicing monogamy. In the end, you are just looking for one partner to be with, one person to be in a relationship with, not 457 people. So please do not worry about the number of matches you have, the amount of people who want to go out with you. Do not stress over people who are not attracted to you. Ooh, I'm going to stop and pause here, break off the script a little bit because this one really gets me. It's the fact that Black women especially do this, but not many people in LA are checking for Black women. Oh, I don't know, people really checking for people my size. Oh, this, that, and the third. These things suck, but why are you worried about people who aren't worried about you? Why are you actively desiring the attention of people, the respect of people, the community, the conversation of people who aren't looking for you? What is that about? Let's check that. Don't stress about these people. Don't try to educate these people. Don't try to teach these people. Those who are not attracted to your race, height, size, background, whatever it is, just entertain the people who are. Entertain the people who do. Check for you and keep moving. I was able to create a sort of, I don't know what you want to call it, a cone of delusion because I'm like, people who swipe on me are interested in me. So if I'm only focusing on the guys that are swiping on me, not the profiles that I swipe on that I never see or hear from again, but the people who want me, the guys who are attracted to me, who want to go out with me, who are right in front of me, I'm going to have a much more positive experience. I don't care if the majority of the world is attracted to me. I don't care if I exist in the least desired category of people on dating apps. That isn't important to me. What's important to me is my relative experience. In the end, I'm not looking for marriage with the majority of the men in the United States. I'm looking for a marriage and a partnership with one man that I might meet on an app. And that's basically what I found. Pausing here because, oh my goodness, if you're watching on YouTube or any of our other visual platforms, I made the cutest Dating Unsettled business cards. I just saw them on my desk and I was like, wait, I have to show you. On the back, they're like, what? What's Dating Unsettled? And they have our socials and our information. So if you see me out in the world, I might give you one of those. Okay. Number two, agreeing to be friends with a man that you're romantically interested in isn't the end of the world. I know. We call these pen pals, right? It feels really frustrating to be offered friendship when you are in the position of looking for your everything, right? But instant elimination of someone who just may not be ready or may not be interested in dating right now, may not be ready to commit right now. It's not the only option. You don't have to just cut them right off. And if it helps you, like I have to hold this. I have to hold it. I mentally wrote off my now boyfriend because he was delightful and he was attractive to me, but he wasn't interested in dating during a busy time in his life when we met. So, y'all, I met this guy. We FaceTimed. He's my now partner. You can find him on my social. We FaceTimed and I was like, oh, he's so cute. He's so funny. All of his sort of like traits, they just tick, 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 all of my boxes. And then I asked him, are you looking to date right now? Like, are you, potentially looking to be in a serious relationship? He's like, no, not at this moment. I have other priorities, other things I'm working on. So it's not a priority for me. Like, you're cool. I would love to stay in contact with you, but it's not what I'm looking for. I was, of course, like, huh? I was frustrated. I'm like, we're on a dating app. Dang it. Why are you here? If you don't want to go all the way with me, like that's what I was thinking. But I just wrote it off because that was my training. I go, if I'm in this position where I want what I want and you don't want what I want, I'm just going to move you to the side. So that's what I did in my mind. However, 6 months of online friendship later, he and I went on multiple multi-day dates in person. And then 3 months after that weekend that I flew myself out to his city so that he could take me out, he asked me to be his girlfriend. If somebody had laid out this timeline in front of me of almost a year of a virtual talking stage, right, I would have told them that I would never do it. But alongside keeping my options open, keeping myself busy with my normal life, this plan made all the sense for me. And it resulted in almost 2 years of a loving, perfect partnership for us. We are in that relationship right now. You do not always have to be in control of the timeline. I'm going to say that one again because I think somebody really needs it. You do not always have to be in control of the timeline. It is okay to let friendship blossom, even if it doesn't make for the craziest love at first sight story. I think we all want that story. So when it doesn't seem to fit our fairy tale, we just reject it. And what's so interesting is like the man I'm with now literally embodies fairy tale for me. The way he treats me, the way he talks to me, the way he respects me, the way he lifts me up, the way he shows up for me, the way he lets me into his world and his community, right? The way that I'm able to participate in his life with his family and show up, for his dreams. Like that to me is the fairy tale. But the way that we met and talking for 9 months before he was like, it was 9 months from meeting him online to, will you be my girlfriend? Like, what are we doing? And I would have never agreed to that if somebody wrote it out on paper. I would have been like, what? 9? That's crazy. I know in one, I know in 2 weeks. So it was kind of nice to let a man lead. You can let a man lead who's worth it. Absolutely. Okay. Number 3, investing in your dating life by paying for the apps can be worthwhile. This goes for anybody of any gender. Yes, the apps are indeed designed to influence you to pay. Because I know what you're thinking, like, oh, well, the dating apps are a scam. They just want us to pay. Yeah, they want you to pay, but it's for a reason. Paying allows you to increase your filtering criteria and therefore decrease the amount of time that you spend evaluating profiles that were never truly aligned with you. The same amount of money that you might invest into coffee or nails or parking or games can be invested into a monthly or lifelong dating app subscription. And I'm going to have a whole nother episode on paying for the apps, the value, all of it. You decide what your time is worth. I was a busy working woman. I was also simultaneously a graduate student. So I loved the ability to filter and go on targeted dates with only educated Black Christian men who were drug free, because that is what I needed in a compatible, healthy partnership. I know. It's almost like it's laughable to think that you can show up to the dating pool with all of your criteria and get it all. Like it may not happen right away, but it will happen because there are too many people And these apps are successful and they've got millions of profiles on them. So if you endure, if you spend long enough and you're strategic enough by paying for the apps to weed out what you don't want, it'll happen. Paying is how I was able to filter through over 3,000 profiles to meet more than 20 people that basically fit my criteria. Okay. Number 4 here on this list of dating unsettled reminders, clear communication is an absolute must in a healthy relationship. This is what I believe. And you do not need to teach anybody or shame anybody into how to treat you. This is going to shake some people. This is really going to get some people. If somebody is ghosting or manipulating you by using their absence or even leveraging or framing their presence as a gift to you, you should not be pursuing a relationship with them. Do not pursue a relationship with someone that you don't feel like you can communicate with the way you communicate with your best friend. That's someone you ideally want to spend significant amount of time around. You should feel comfortable communicating with them. It shouldn't feel like a stranger or a bank teller or a boss, someone that you're like afraid of or nervous around. This is your partner. They should be open with you. They should be telling you how they feel about you constantly, affirmatively, loudly, proudly. You don't need to discern it or do puzzle pieces to figure it out. You don't need to run to the group chat for backup. You don't need to investigate further. You're free to just let any crappy communication or crappy communicators go. And you don't need to punish them. You don't need to admonish them or chew them out. Just let them go. Spend your time wisely. Know that you have inherent value. Just because a man is attracted to you or just because a woman or a person ticks off all of your boxes doesn't mean that you need to be intimidated by them, subservient to them, or tolerate bad behavior. Ooh, this is future me wishing that I could reach back to young Joy, like early in the game, early in the dating apps Joy. Because child, when I was on those first few dates, I was nervous because I was meeting these guys and I'm like, oh my God, if I wrote up my dream guy on a piece of paper, this is what he would look like. This is how he would sound. This is the education he'd be pursuing. And when I met the sort of embodiments of that guy, I was like, doe-eyed, starstruck. And I wasn't fully myself. I was intimidated. I wasn't relaxed because I was so worried that, oh, he fits everything that I've been looking for. Shoot, what if I fit everything he's been looking for? Like, why am I putting him above myself in that way? That's something that we talked about in New York. Y'all got to come see me in person because we have some illuminating conversations. Okay, number 5 on the dating unsettled reminders. If somebody is compatible with you in all ways except one, be that religion or physical attractiveness or health practices, they're actually not compatible with you. If they're kind and respectful to you in every single way except one, they're not actually kind and respectful towards you. It's an all or nothing game. It's zero sum. The presence of generosity or sweetness does not cancel out the presence of mistreatment. So I would have people come to me and they still do like, oh, I'm having such an amazing time with this guy. He's this, that. He's done this for me. But he kind of was weird about my career. He made some weird comments. Wait, what? Or like, he makes me feel amazing and great in so many ways, but then sometimes he disappears for weeks on end. Huh? The presence, I'm going to say that one again. The presence of generosity or sweetness does not cancel out the presence of mistreatment. So don't try to balance these boys. Don't balance these women like a book. This is not a checkbook. This is you are or you're not. You're respectful or you're not. You're present or you're not. You show up for me or you don't. You love me or you don't. You want me or you don't. And if you're a little due to confusion and and you can't clearly communicate to me where the confusion is coming from, it's time for us both to move on. All right, number 6, and this one I hear so much, so I had to touch on it. Number 6, the dating pool is full of piss. Okay, well, it's also full of magic. Do not give up based on the pessimistic or even very valid traumatic experiences of others. Their story does not have to be yours. Even the story that you've been living or experiencing or mentally telling yourself the past few months of dating online, it doesn't have to be your future. Across 1.5 years of dating online, I would go on a string of like really horrible dates. And then I would have one of the most memorable sweetest dates of my life. And it's okay to take a break, to shut it all down, shut down the apps, pause them, unsubscribe, stop paying, hop out of the pool whenever you feel exhausted. Come back when you are healed and come back when you are energized so that you don't carry the negativity of your past mismatches onto someone who could truly be right for you. So many people count themselves out of the game and they count the person in front of them out of the game because they're still healing from that past situation. It's okay to listen, I had a breakup and within 2 weeks I was back on the apps because I was ready. There were still some things to get over. There were still some things I had to learn about the apps. But I'm not talking about be a fully healed human being, before someone can love you or appreciate you or before you have something to offer as a dater. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying heal from the pool. When you feel like it's full of piss, don't keep gulping. Spit it out. Spit out the piss and then take a break and come back. All right. Number 7, and this is the last item here on Dating Unsettled Reminders. For those who date men. Here we go. Are we quite ready? Ready for this one?
Dating Unsettled.
For those who date men, men are wonderful. While the patriarchy and patriarchal systems that we operate under often result in violence, very real trauma, and the active, measurable disenfranchisement of women and gender non-binary people. Like, I'm going to pause there. The systems that we operate under, especially patriarchal systems, actively disenfranchise us, hurt us, harm us, disappear us, erase us. I know that. And still, healthy partnership with men has the power to boost and heal. Partnership with an aware and sensitive man can be a dream. Men are not the enemy. Condemning them as such will not advance our dating lives. Please continue to trust your gut, prioritize your girls, prioritize community, who is often going to outlast the boyfriends, but make attempts to forgive and release the resentment that might be holding you back while remaining vigilant. You can decide to spend time with the girls and forgive that last guy and go out with the next guy and release that thing that hurt you, acknowledging that the person in front of you doesn't have to be the same as the person behind you just because they're both men. And you can also stay vigilant about the next man that's interested in you while doing all of that. It is a crazy, horrible juggling job. But I say it like this: who run the world? Who run the world? Girls. We can do it. We can release the pain, release your job, release your man. We can release that. We can let it go. Men as the enemy, that perspective is not going to help you navigate dating in an open, healthy way. Imagine moving through an ocean and your job is to collect water in a bucket, but the top of your bucket is closed. You got a couple holes open. You need to open that bucket. Open it wide. Let the water stream in. Let it fill in and then filter it once it gets inside. That makes sense. A bucket, an ocean, and water is not the sharpest analogy that I can offer, but it's all I got for you at this time. Be open to new experiences. Let go of this idea of men. This is for all who date men, women, gender, non-binary people, anybody who date. Let go of the idea of men as your enemy. If ideally, in a dreamlike state, you want a healthy partnership with a man, we are not in competition with men. As women, we are not competing against men in love, in partnership. You'll often hear married people be like, it's you two versus the problem. Practice that in dating. It's us versus the patriarchal problems. It's not us versus each other. I really hope that this helps you. I hope that these reminders, these unpopular opinions give you hope for your dating life. I would love if you continue listening to the podcast. Send this to somebody who just needs like a little bit of a boost, somebody who's
dating unsettled.
And if you're
dating unsettled,
then just let everybody know. Let everybody know that it's working for you. Please, I posted this on social media, so flood the comments. Share this along. God, what am I? 40-year-old nursery rhyme teacher in a kindergarten enrichment program, share it along, dearie. And let me know what you think. I am deeply, deeply appreciative of all of you who listen to the podcast. And I hope that this helps you find love soon. Talk soon.
Dating unsettled.